Hi, I'm Becky Swan from Crafters Companion, and I'm going to be showing you how to make this beautiful brush roll. This is going to be perfect for your toiletries, like your makeup brushes, but also really good as well if you want to be traveling with some of your crafty supplies. So this is what your brush roll is going to look like. You'll just open it up and you will see here, you've got a little flap here. You've got these little pockets to put your brushes down here. And then down this side, you've also got a zip pocket to put all of your other bits and pieces, so your toiletries or your makeup perhaps. And then everything folds up like so, ties with this little tie, and you've got this lovely little brush roll ready to give as a gift. So when you get your packaging, this will be what it looks like. So it's quite a large template that you're going to be using. And on the back of this, you'll see we've given you effectively a shopping list of all the things that you need to have in order to put this together if you want to follow the same kind of design. So we've got some contrasting fabric, we've got outer fabric, we've got lining fabric, and we're using the contrasting fabric for doing a bit of binding. You'll also need things like your zipper foot and your sewing machine, as well as a zip and some interfacing. The little templates look like this. So actually we've tried to make it as simple as possible. So we've actually written down on here exactly what pieces are and how many of everything you need to cut. So see here for the center panel, you cut one from contrasting fabric, one from medium weight interfacing, whereas you've got the center pocket here, you cut 4 from your lining fabric and 2 from the medium weight interfacing. So we made it as simple as possible. But you'll find the full instructions in this little booklet, and you'll see all of the details of how to put everything together. And under cutting preparation, this will show how many of everything you need to cut out in order to get started on your project. So we do have step-by-step instructions, as you will see here, and we're going to be taking you through those just now. So what we want to do first of all is create these little ends for your zip. So we've already cut out these little pieces from our template. We're going to fold them in half, and then we're going to fold each of those edges to that half place here and give them a bit of an iron. Then we're going to place them over here. So we've got them on the end of each zip, and we're just going to sew down here with your sewing machine. So I've already cut out my zip size pieces. So I've got one in my outer fabric, and then I've got contrasting fabric, and I've got lining fabric as well. So what I'm going to start off with is I'm going to take my outer fabric, and I'm going to have that face up, and then I'm going to take my zip and I'm going to place it on here face down. Then I'm going to take one of these pieces of lining fabric, and I'm going to place that facing downwards here. And then using my zipper foot, I'm going to sew all the way along on this piece here. So this will be what it looks like once it's been sewn together. So you can see this would look like this initially. So you've got your lining fabric here, you've got your zip and your outer fabric, and we're just folding it over so it looks like this. And then we're going to do exactly the same with the other side, but we're going to be using different fabrics. So we're going to be using this as your lining fabric, but this is your outer fabric. So we'll place that piece of fabric like so, and then we're going to be placing this on top facing downwards, and then this over the top like that, and then stitching along this piece here. So you've now got your whole panel put together. So you've got your lining fabric here, you've got this piece of fabric here, but you've also got that outer piece of fabric here. So we're going to give that a press, and then we're just going to fold that over so it's all one whole piece. And we're just going to do some basting stitches around here just to keep everything in place. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to be taking the center pockets. These are 2 pieces of fabric in exactly the same size. We've got 2 here, and we're going to have another 2, so we'll have 4 together. One is going to make the pocket, and one is going to make the flap that goes over the top. So the first one I've already stitched together. So I've put the right sides together, and then I've stitched all the way around the edge, and I've just turned it round the other way and given it a press. So you can see I've got a stitch line all around here, but this is open. This one here, I'm going to stitch along the top, and I'm going to fold it over, and then I'm going to do some top stitching over the top of that. So So stitched along there, then I'm going to open this up like so. I'm going to give it a press and then I'm going to fold it over and I'm going to stitch along the top of here. So you see it's nicely pressed here. I'm just going to run a running stitch across here. And now we've got our two pieces ready to go. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this little pocket piece and we're going to place that on the center panel of your brush roll. And what we want to do is we want to stitch along here with our sewing machine, some straight lines in order to create some little pockets. So I've already done that here. So you've got little pockets to put brushes and all that sort of thing in there. Then we're going to take the other piece that we've sewn together, which is slightly smaller. You'll see it just isn't quite as long or as wide rather as this piece is, but that's fine because once we put everything together it's going to fit perfectly. And what we want to do is we want to just sew this piece to that lining panel. The next thing we want to do is we want to attach the right side panel to the center panel, and so we're just going to get that together. So this is another piece of our velvet fabric that we're using here in this kind of almost like a petrol-y coloured fabric, but it's entirely up to you what fabric you want to use. So what we're going to do is we're going to place this along here and we're going to stitch along this side. So when it opens out, that creates that other piece of velvet as part of the panel. Using your clips here is absolutely ideal because it'll hold everything together. So now you can see we've sewn that part in there together. Now we just need to add the other side, which is the side with our zip panel. So that's this one here, that's the one we made earlier with that outer piece of fabric there. And so we're just going to again put these right sides together like so, and then stitch along here. Okay, now you've stitched your panels together, so you've got your inside panel and then you've got your two left and right panels, and this one's your zip. What you want to do is you want to take this back panel and we want to stitch along this line here. So we've got against your zip panel here. So we're not stitching all the way around the outside, we're going to fold it all over and then we're going to seal everything up with the binding. So we'll just use some quilting clips to secure this around. We're just stitching along this line here. So we've now got this all ready and we're going to fold this over like so. And then this is forming our back part of our brush roll. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to be taking this binding piece of fabric, and what we've done is we've folded it in half and we've pressed it. And we want to place this all the way around here and we want to stitch it together. So we want to place this with the raw edges together and we're going to stitch all around, and then we'll fold it over and then you want to hand stitch it together to this part of the fabric afterwards. You can see how that looks when that's been stitched all the way around the outside and it's been stitched by hand just to finish it off. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the piece of fabric to create that little pull, that little tie. Again, we folded it in half and half again, and then we've stitched along the side just to finish that off, and that's going to create that little tie, which is going to go, we're going to stitch it onto here. You see this one's already been stitched together. So we've got this little tie here, we've just stitched with the sewing machine here, and then now we've got this ready to use. So we've got this place here for all of those little brushes, we've got this to seal everything, we've got your little zip pocket over here, and then everything folds up. Use this little tab to secure it, and there's your brush roll all completed.